What are the recommended services for creating virtual roof consultations as a marketing tool? Now, when we're talking about using virtual roofing consultations in our marketing, what we're talking about is more doing the presentation piece that you would do inside of a regular sales pitch, but inside of your marketing. So this could look like you walking through a proposal, good, better, best, better, good, showing financing, showing payments, showing options, showing structures, showing other trades. You could be doing something like that. What you could also be doing is speaking about why your company goes multi-option, multi-structure, multi-trade. You could also be speaking about what kind of options people have to purchase this stuff and it not be just a $30,000 ticket that you need to use. When we're talking about utilizing something that typically is in the sales process and is typically is presented after you've done inspection, after you've done an inspection report, after you've gone through discovery, you've asked about pain, current situation, solution desired, consequence of inaction, consequence of action but the wrong thing, tied down to qualifying, commitment, etc. After you've gone through all of that, you're typically then presenting your pillars, right, so to speak, in any sale, and you're asking for the sale. And that could be you're asking for, hey, of these three options, I would recommend this, but you could obviously also strip this back and go this way. You could get the whole kit and caboodle and go this way. I would always recommend you pitch the highest and then kind of step down from there. Unless you know in your heart of hearts that the option that is more expensive or is bigger or is more bolstered is not the one that's actually for them. In that case, don't be a POS and do what's right. But most of the time, if you've done your sales process appropriately, you've gone through that consultation yourself, you've asked the questions that you needed the answers to, and you've got an understanding of what the heck they're even trying to do, you will probably be able to sell them the most expensive thing. Doesn't mean that you always do, but when it benefits them, I would recommend you do that. Profit is going to be higher. You're going to be able to serve them better. You're going to have more room to show up more at a higher level of service. And something I don't hear a lot about the good, better, best options is that there's no differentiation around service, around client service given or client service that they receive after they select a higher option. Most people are like, hey, our differentiation between good, better, best or best, better, good is going to be your shingles, your underlayment, the class of those, maybe going metal versus asphalt shingle, maybe going this manufacturer versus this manufacturer. And that's all well and good, but I would strongly recommend that you look at, based on the option set, you look at maybe your better and your best having some other client service things, or maybe an extra like 24/7 service, or it doesn't have to be that, but just something that is more value there. Because if you can speak to homeowners that want that level of service and want that level of care, and you can speak to them and differentiate those potential buyers from others that don't care about that, then using maybe a faux consultation or just walking through value set and the different options that they should be thinking about as they're potentially going to do business with you, gives them an understanding, seeing the different options that they could take inside of your marketing and associating their own behaviors, desires, outcomes, negative past consequences of choosing the wrong thing. If you can have them associate themselves with one of these tiers ahead of the time that you were even sitting at the house with them, you're going to be in a position where you have the opportunity to close a little bit faster. Sales cycle could decrease. You don't necessarily need to have a one-call close at the kitchen table, at the door. You don't have to be in a retail environment doing that. You can follow up. But remember, follow-up should be more logistical, should not be you trying to overcome objections. You should be able to run that process in the home with them, bam, fam, book a meeting from a meeting. You should have another meeting where you're able to overcome those for anything that's a stall or decision maker, what have you, if you couldn't get it done with them originally. Follow-up should be for logistical concerns. Hey, they need to pull together the money. Hey, there's a day that they want to start. Hey, this is happening, that is happening. It should not be things that are legitimately blowing up the sale because they don't have the transfer of belief. So when we're talking about using these consultations in your marketing, you can paint people in the corners by speaking in the voice of the customer around the individuals that are taking these different options. Have them associate themselves with the behaviors in one of these options, and then you have them primed already for when you get on site. Maybe they were thinking they need to go better, or they were thinking they need to go best, and then you're like, well, actually you could go best on main house, we could do better on detached garage, and we could do better on shed because we can just get a little bit more volume bundling those two together. But when you allow someone to see this kind of stuff and you take a moment to educate them ahead of the sale, ahead of the sit, ahead of the appointment, ahead of the inspection, you give yourself a higher probability of winning across more people. And in turn, that's gonna make you a heck of a lot more money because you have way more shots on goal with people that are actually qualified to be doing this, and they know more information coming in. And at the end of the day, your homeowners, they may have a small set of things that they believe that they care about. They may have a small set of things that they were told by someone else to care about, but you have an ability as a roofing contractor to decide for them by way of educating them what they should be looking at in a contractor. You just have to make sure that whatever evaluation criteria you're giving them suits them whether they roll with you or not. So if it's only a step-by-step that suits them if they work with you, not super helpful. You giving them education to have them be in a position where they can evaluate a contractor versus you or you versus somebody else, even if they don't go with you, that's what you should be looking at. You do that, you're gonna put yourself and them in a better position to succeed. And at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do. Serve your homeowners better. When you're looking at these virtual presentations that you're gonna use in marketing too, you just need to make sure that you have a system that can enable it. So some sort of proposal system, arguably built into your CRM, that can do good, better, best, better, good, can show financing, can take payments, can display custom pages, embed videos, et cetera, also allows you to do multi-option, multi-structure, multi-trade. So you can do main home, detached garage, and shed. And just make sure that you get that rocking in a system that can do that. And you could use something like ProLine CRM if you wanted to. I'm 100% bias Scouts owner. I think it's the best tool to use for residential roofers. But if you absolutely hate that, you don't want James to have food on his table, amazing, right? Use another system for that. You definitely can. There's a handful, there's a select few that are able to do it. ProLine's not the only one. We are one of the few. I would just recommend you have a system that can enable that so you're in a better position to serve your homeowners. So if nothing else, hope that helps.